The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Mid-Carolina Service Company.
Mid-Carolina Service Company is the first name to search for your residential or commercial HVAC needs in Lexington and surrounding areas.
Just go holler at Jason and Clint. They'll hook you up on the air conditioners, on the restaurant equipment, refrigerators, refrigeration, ice machine repair. They've been doing this for years. I know them cats forever.
Family owned and operated since 2006, they pride themselves in their quality work and customer relationships. Call 803-356-4153 or visit midcarolinaserviceco.com for a no obligation quote for service today.
The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by True Brilliance Entertainment.
True Brilliance is a production, promotions, and management company dedicated to connecting artists and producers across the Carolinas to music industry professionals.
Several of their clients have placements both domestic and internationally as a result of their services.
Are you an artist or producer looking to build meaningful relationships within the music industry? Then True Brilliance is for you. Check them out at paramilitary.com. That's spelled P-A-I-R-A military.com.
This episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Bob's. Bob's is a Columbia-based retailer of over 100 Black-owned products from 20 Black-owned businesses. Bob's offers a wide range of items from household cleaning, cosmetics, and everything in between. With every visit to Bob's, you support Black-owned businesses, giving them the opportunity to grow and establish connections with our community. Bob's is located inside the Noma warehouse at 2222 Sumter Street in Columbia, South Carolina. Visit their website, weshopbobs.com, for in-store pickup or to find out more. Bob's can also be found via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at weshopbobs. When you stop by, tell them the Hilltop Glove sent you. Bob's brings quality Black brands to the Columbia community. The Hilltop Glove Podcast is sponsored by Red Rooster Sports Bar and Grill. Red Rooster is your neighborhood bar and grill serving the best wings, burgers, and baskets in the Met.
Like the amazing food, the bar is always on tap, and there's plenty of screens to watch the big game. Red Rooster is the Midland's premier meetup spot for local car and bike clubs, fraternities, and sororities.
Staff is dedicated to accommodating all kinds of parties and events. If you're looking to catch a game, have a bite, and a drink, look no further than the Red Rooster.
Red Rooster is located at 7500 Wilson Boulevard, Columbia, South Carolina. For more information, visit redroostersportsbar.com or visit them on Facebook and Instagram at Red Rooster Sports Bar. Go where the winners go.
Welcome to the Hilltop Glove Podcast.
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 Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday and welcome to this episode of the Hilltop Glove Podcast. I'm your host, DJ Ann Wet, with my brother Skip. What's up, Skip?
What's up? What's good?
This is season 2 and we have our guest today, Carla Aaron-Lopez.
Yo.
Yeah, what's happening? What's happening?
Happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? The one and only you. You really can't clone me.
There we go. Carla Aaron-Lopez is an artist, educator from Charlotte, North Carolina. After graduating North Carolina Central University in 2006 with a BA in graphic design, she moved to Atlanta to attend Savannah College of Art and Design, or SCAD. In 2009, she graduated with MFA in photography and in 2012 received an MA in printmaking. In 2010, she began her teaching career at Fort Valley State University as an adjunct professor and has been a Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools art educator since 2014. She has experience in various creative fields from photojournalism to podcasting to art exhibitions and continues to exhibit her personal works while teaching. That's right. A lot of damn shit.
I just be doing shit.
You are not lying. No, she is not bullshitting, audience. I'm not lying because just getting straight into it, man. I checked out your CV page, right? And I was like, let me see what's on this page. I started going down the page. I was reading everything. Not only were you involved, not only did you have accolades and achievements, right? But you also had consistent involvement in your communities, which I thought was extremely impressive. You had volunteering stuff listed up there all the way down to like, I was just like, is she just an artist or like, what does she really do? Like, what does she really do? So just off the rips, could you give our audience a little background on your upbringing, who you are as an individual? Because I think this is going to be interesting because you look like a very interesting person.
So, dear audience, here is my love letter to you. I be doing shit, and I hope you do too. Does that work?
Yes, that works.
Like
that works.
You up all in one nice little bucket, and then everybody else can tell lies and fantasies.
There we go. I like that, yo.
Number one, let me just say flat out, thank you for looking at my CV and resume. Yes, I have done a lot of things. Yes, I am overly qualified for a lot of things.
Yeah.
No one looks at these things, and no one ever believes me until I come out the blue. Really, though, my background, my upbringing is no different than a lot of Black Americans,
Thank you.
Single parent household, very focused on education. And I was raised an only child, So that means at any given moment, my brain will say, fuck y'all, I'm going to go over here and color and read and call it a day,
Yep.
So essentially that's where I start. I do start from humble beginnings. And I believe that you should keep those things in check as you grow as a person. But art across the board has been that one very consistent thing, Like even in childhood, I would go to summer camps and I would try out different summer camps, but every summer I would drive my family crazy to go to an arts camp of some sort. Wow. So it's just something that's always been there.
So you would actually actively seek these things out as a young person?
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to do. You think I wanted to sit in the school for 8 hours a day and be made fun of for being a nerd?
Oh no, Ooh. Black nerds unite.
Right. That's why I love the 21st century. I get to be sexy now.
Yeah, right. You the shit. That's what I'm saying.
Before, but I'm sexy as hell now. Too bad I won't wear the sexy clothes. Too bad.
Yeah, we used to get hammered back in the 90s, Urkel,
listen, hair pulled, names called, everything. Nigga, I didn't even know what the fuck an Oreo was until I got to high school, and I was like, well, I don't think I like that.
Oh, good Lord. They introduced you with no kind of care, yo. No care at all. So evidently that affected your perspective as well, correct?
It did for a while, you know what I mean? And MTV and Nickelodeon play a lot into my perspective, like a little too much into my perspective, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of rock and goth that goes on in my head. And when it comes to dating is a little difficult because I'm like, hey, so I like you, black guy, but if I play this rock song, what are you going to do? I'm going to freak out.
Does it cause issues when you do that?
No, it doesn't. And I'm happily dating someone now who is also an only child who understands where I'm coming from. So I can play said rock song.
There we go.
Like I said, we sexy now.
That's what I'm saying. Like, oh man. All right. And I know this is off the topic, but I'm happy that you jumped into that because we were talking to another black nerd this morning and it appears that like, even though we went through all that whackness, we're coming out, we booming right now, right?
Yeah.
But we're still very, how would you say? We're still very kind in the way we treat all those people that were, that was horrible to us. Do you think that's just a product of us going through those struggles?
No, I see it as a mark of maturity. Ooh, because number one, you are definitely going to back yourself up from your achievements if you don't just let it go. Yes, kids are brutal. Yes, you were made fun of. Yes, it hurts your feelings. Admit it. However, people do change over time and you should give them space to change, okay? When I was dating in college and I was just a regular old curiosity from some country-ass black guy, first thing they would say to me is like, yo, I like Nickelback. And my first out my mouth would be like, that's awesome. That band sucks. That's very harsh. You see what I'm saying? Like that's super harsh. As to where today, when I teach kids, it looks like curiosity, and I take it as curiosity instead of, placing my kids in boxes like, okay, you're going to be like this person who treated me this way. You're going to be like this person who treated me that way. To be honest, forgiveness goes an extremely long way. And if people could just take a moment to forgive the atrocities and negativities and the horrible experience, forgive themselves of those horrible experiences, like stop holding on to that, your life will be that much more fulfilling.
Right on the money. And I think I always like the fact that the quote unquote, the Black nerds in society, how we say that we're pretty gracious in what we do and just have a conversation. Like, you don't even understand. I like to say this too. You can't call out all Black nerds. You can't see them and tell exactly who everybody is just by their outside covering. But when you get to talk to people and you see their experience, you're like, yo, you really, okay, I see how you are. And you came out of this situation like that. To me, it shows it's a blessing, man. The way that you took and processed that input that was given to you. And how would you say, because I wanted to know how you gained that perspective. Like, I wanted to know a little bit of your background. Yeah. And I want our audience to hear it and see how you handle things because, I was up there trolling through your stuff yesterday, your Instagram and whatnot. And I like that how you're talking about the bullying because you have a nice little post where you're talking about how you react when you see your favorite student getting bullied.
Yep.
And it made my damn day because I remember being that kid and I was like, I know the teacher sees this.
I see it, and I'm coming for you.
And that made me feel so much better because
play with your mama.
See, that's what I'm saying because it helps. You have to support those people in your communities, and I know, especially with our Black quote unquote culture in our community, a lot of those people get overshadowed and or bullied or stuff like that, and it leads usually some of those people don't end up being as fruitful and well reconciled as you might be.
And I got a lot of kids that will look at that video and come back and tell you, yeah, she act like that.
She really puts down for her people. That's what I'm talking about. I would have killed to have a teacher like you when I was a child, man. I'm not gonna lie, I already know.
In that space, I just try to be the person I wish I had.
I see that.
Yeah, that brings a lot of peace.
And just like most artists, they have stories behind their work and their current artistic style, origins and beginnings, etc. At what age did you discover your love for art?
It had to have been during Hurricane Hugo that I slept through and never knew until my mama told me I slept through it.
Damn.
And I was sitting in front of the TV and I saw a Valvoline commercial. So I drew the Valvoline logo and then I drew a boy in a grill. I misspelled girl at the time. But to be honest, that's the earliest picture in my mind I can remember. I'm sure there were pictures before then.
Yeah.
But that was that moment where I want to draw for the rest of my life was the first thought I had. I just want to draw. That's it. And, that concept of creating has stayed with me. I'm looking at it because you dead ass reading off of this cute little skeleton thing because I want to break some of these questions in half. But I want to tell you something about the artist influence, right? Yep. So what artist influenced you to create your current artwork? My mom was talking to someone, I can't remember who, and they were fucking up Jean-Michel Basquiat's name, And my mom was like, it's Basquiat. Because I had to correct her a few times on this man's name. Yeah, and they just had all the questions about the clothes and all of this. And my mama was like, are y'all just now getting into this? And the person was like, yeah, this dude is dope. And she was just like, wow, my child has been on this dude since the 90s. Everything that I have seen of him since the 90s. Because remember, he died early 90s,
yes,
right?
He did. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything I've seen of him since the 90s, since the movie with Jeffrey Wright and David Bowie.
That was a good movie.
Right? On VHS. Check it out. From Blockbuster. Y'all niggas ain't as old as me.
We're that old.
For as long as
stop. Y'all said Blockbuster, baby. Blockbuster. Go ahead. My fault.
Listen. Because I was trying to keep the tape, damn it, but them late fees, Lord.
Yes. Late fees. Fuck
right
the late
there,
fees.
him writing on the artworks is something that has stayed with me. Just the act of writing and turning writing into the art itself is something that has stayed with me. However, I've gone to do other things, since then.
Yes, we love the text work. Especially how you got it on that on your website, text work. We love the text work. My brother and I, we were talking about that before we got on. We love how the fonts you use, how you draw it out. Is that, like you said, you could tell Basquiat, you could see that influence, but the way you put it on your art, man, is excellent to the point where we're like, yo, do you make fonts?
No, I don't like sitting at a computer for long periods of time.
Oh, that's all we asked. We're like, yo, does she make fonts? Yo, we want some fonts. Yo, that is crazy. So this is something that is only on that art. That's only we're gonna find it on this print.
Yeah. So to take it back to Basquiat, like how he wrote, that's how I started trying to copy his style. And, you know, just going to school, I learned over time that you need to own your style. You can be influenced by someone, but you need to own yours. So I allowed it to transform over time.
Okay. Explain some of that transformation.
Well, you know, I started thinking about how I used to have journals. Like I was never really a diary girl. Like, dear diary, here's my day today. Like, no, I didn't do none of that bullshit. But I definitely kept journals to, you know, talk about how I felt when I would miss my mom or she would make me mad. Or the biggest thing was like songs and lyrics and having a song on repeat just to write out the lyrics. By the time I got to grad school, I was writing on my photographs to take notes during critique so I could improve. And people always thought that that was the art. And I'm like, no, I'm taking notes because I ain't gonna remember what the fuck you just told me. I gotta hear it, I gotta write it, and then I gotta read it later. And then that's how I learn. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And the more they kept saying that, the more I kept taking a look at it and the more I began to enjoy, like, you know what, I do like writing on this. So years of trial and error had to happen in order to develop the style that you enjoy looking at today.
Got it.
Dang, that's dope. Okay, because we were trying to figure out how you got to that.
Shit don't be overnight. Like, yo, I might have dead ass practiced one detail for like 3 years before you even get to see it.
Wow, I was listening to one of your videos. You were explaining how your perspective, how you see the picture come together in layers. Could you explain that to the audience?
Yeah, well, I think like everything is puzzle pieces. A lot of shit don't go together, and we the humans have to make it go together.
I like that. That made I was like, that's so dope. That she explains that. It makes the art accessible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not too highbrow. Do you know what I mean?
No, because we don't have space for highbrow. I think a motherfucker's lying to you and they're like, art is for everyone. If that's the case, then why do people feel like they can't go to certain spaces?
Yes.
If that's the case, someone has already determined that high and lowbrow exists. There's a fucking essay on it.
Damn.
A few of them, you know, and I had to read them and we had to talk about it. So with that, like, art is something that anyone can do. Dedication is a whole other conversation. Are you dedicated to doing the same thing every day? Are you dedicated to switching up what you do every day? So when it comes to making works of art, no, I really don't want to make the same goddamn image again and again and again and again. I get bored. I get really bored.
As you should. Yeah.
You know, it's like I still shoot photos while holding an MFA, but I am not a commercial photographer. Leave that to people who enjoy doing headshots or family photos or what the fuck ever. Like, that shit's boring to me. There's nothing exciting about it. Like, okay, this is a dope lighting setup. Awesome. What's the story? It's a headshot for LinkedIn. Oh, okay. Well, the story's done now. As to where when you look at so many other photographs, you're like, oh man, I was here at this time doing these things and I was trying to take the best picture to show it. Yo, that I'm intrigued in the way you caught this light. I'm intrigued. So that means every time that person goes out, there's something different for them to experience. When I go to make things, I might use elements of skills that I've acquired over time, but the image at the end of the day does not look like the same image I produced 3 years ago and 3 years before then.
Exactly.
I like that. I remember I was reading the autobiography of Miles Davis and he was explaining, he was like, Because you know how he is. He cursed a lot. And even his book, he's like, shit, nigga, I don't make the same damn music I made 50 years ago. If you want to hear that shit, go buy that album. Yeah. He said, I make what I want to make, what I feel like right now. And if I want to do some electronic such, this is what I'm going to do. If I feel like I want to do a painting, I'm going to paint a damn painting. And I was like, you know what? That is what it is. That is that feel. That's, and I like that, hearing that from somebody. You don't hear that in our, like, I don't get to hear that often. So I love hearing that come from somebody.
People have understood that you don't have to be a starving artist and you can just produce the same image. If that's the case, I would have less voices asking me about how to get into the arts.
Understood.
Yeah.
I can see that.
That right there is what you call the sawed-off shotgun that I just let off. Wow. You have more followers than me. You might make more money than me. I have more people interested in me.
True. Very true. Very true. And I could see that. That is evident just from looking at the small snippet that I was getting of what was going on with you and what you're doing. Speaking of which, I thought this is interesting. Do you, and this is because I know we want to talk about the importance of Black curators in art. Do you consider yourself a Black curator?
Yeah, now I do, because that's what everybody else been calling me.
That's what I was about. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because was the name given to you?
I'm a curator. Like, it's nowhere on the site that I'm a curator.
No, it's not. It's
that's what everybody else said, and I was just like, that's another paycheck. I'm down.
Go ahead, get a coin, girl. Get that coin. No, because I thought it was real interesting. It's like they put that label on you because that's how important they think you are.
Yeah,
to the community. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they stamped you with that.
I ain't running away from it. I'm young.
Yeah. So that's what I knew when I saw that. I was like, yo, she's super dope. Like, she got to be on her stuff, man. And in the sense of like creating opportunities and spaces where our people feel comfortable coming in and expressing their ideas and insights and their perspective on the world. And I know you do have and this is one reason why I wanted to kind of talk about the highbrow and the lowbrow, is because just having access and the structure and privilege to get into these spaces. Do you feel as if you face systematic hardships as a Black quote unquote curator in the art community, especially in Charlotte? I wonder, what is your perspective on that? Is that a thing that exists for you?
At this moment in time, it's a no. At this moment in time.
Okay.
Because things could change at the drop of a dime. And a lot of people are still riding the coattails of 2020 and the events of 2020. However, what I'm going to take a guess about versus just say flat out, here's what I'm going to take a guess about. Every person that I meet in the arts community in Charlotte, they understand that I fully represent Black culture. However, if you understand that I represent Black culture and you stay long enough to hear my philosophical perspectives, you'll also understand that I want all the things that I do to be a reflection of the world, and everybody's invited to see my reflection of the world. So that's not going to be solely just Black people. That's also brown people. That's also our Asian brothers and sisters, our South Asian brothers and sisters. Yeah. That's also disabled folks. That's gender non-conforming folks, our artists of age, the 50 plus, 40 plus crowd. They out here still making bomb ass works. Yeah. Everybody has a space to be represented within the arts community as a whole. I think that if you are not clear in communication, if you are not clearly thinking about all of the different types of people who may cross your space, then it will feel like a hardship. What I truly believe is that some people think that they can just jump in, when I've had 16 years of experience just doing this and doing it at different levels. Yeah. To where what appears on your end, I pop up out the blue, I honestly haven't. I know how to make a clear plan of execution. I know how to organize artists. I know how to get them to submit their things on time. And I know how to install and hang a beautiful show and get media access. That takes 16 years of experience to do that. So now we can go beyond sole Black, and now Black is also included into whatever an institution wants to do, because we created these opportunities for artists to be recognized and to get to know the same people that I know.
Preach.
I enjoy decimating the playing field for people.
Preach. I like hearing that, and part of that is, as you see, it seems like it's dealing with a certain level of professionalism.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Because my professionalism comes with profanity.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right. We adults. And yeah, and I have to ask this too, because speaking on professionalism, I don't think there's anything wrong with social media being used to exhibit art and stuff like that. I think it's excellent. It's a great catalyst and a platform to get it to people. Do you think it's important for Black folk, that, especially African Americans, that do use social media, which we are the large bulk of the usage of it? Do you think it's important for us to still do physical shows in actual brick and mortar places?
Yeah, if you want to get to know who I know.
I'll explain that for our audience, because I like how you said that was nice and cryptic.
Yeah. Well, people have really big dreams and goals. Social media can get you seen by a lot of people, but until you come out of the digital space and into the real world, that will put you in front of different groups of people. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't even think about the crabs in a barrel complex when I do this kind of work. Like, I can't think about it, because what I'm doing is the same thing that other people are doing across the entire US and the world. So you can be recognized by a lot of people on social media, have your own exhibition, and only 50 people show up. Okay. And that happens to a lot of people, which is why they'll come back and say, oh, I don't want to do exhibitions anymore. I'll just keep doing what I was doing before. All right, cool. But there comes a point in time where, do you want to sell 100 prints for $100 always? Or do you want to sell one painting for 10 stacks?
Got it. And you have to be in person for that.
You have to be in person for that. You have to know the people who want to spend that money, who see your work of value, who see your work as a part of current events, history in the making, the moment, who see your work as a representation of whatever lineage of art that they love the most. You have to be in person. It still goes back to professionalism. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's a very thin line between charisma and professionalism. You can have all the charisma and get no calls at all. You could be professional and be boring as fuck. So how can you intersect those two lines to really matter to two different audiences, and then create a space for both of those audiences to show up and experience you, the artist, and your work?
That's tough right there.
Man, you would dropping them knowledge bombs.
Yeah, because I ain't got the sexy clothes on, so I mean, all I got is knowledge. That's all I got. I ain't got no ass, but I got a lot of knowledge.
Oh man, that's deep, because I think we need to hear that a lot. We don't get to hear that often, and I think it's important. I'm gonna keep harboring on this, like you keep saying, professionalism.
Yeah,
being able to move in that room.
Black and professional. I can't be Black and perform whiteness as a form of professionalism. I just can't do it. No. I'm not gonna survive. I'm gonna call you a nigga because I'm gonna get excited about some shit. And you gonna
exactly.
Like, come on.
I have a spirit. I'm gonna show my spirit. Mm-hmm. Man, and again, going back to what we were saying at the beginning of this conversation, I would have killed to have an instructor, especially an art teacher like you when I was young, just to understand that, hey, you seem like you have a way of communicating with your students. Could you share some of your experiences with your students in creating art in this day and age, especially with the elementary students? I guess just to be specific, what age range do you teach?
I feel like you gave me the sweetest compliment ever. I am not an elementary art teacher.
Oh, stop it.
They get the little teeny tinies, and they're cute and needy.
You don't get those.
No, I get the warriors.
Good Lord. Good Lord.
Because look, I'm going to tell you right now, God bless elementary and high school teachers. Y'all get up at the ass crack of dawn to be somewhere by 6:45, 7 o'clock. Yeah. Baby, I would be fired from the job because I would be consistently late.
Oh, he said, look, I ain't angry.
I am not a morning person, yet
Yes,
I am
ma'am.
a school teacher. I am
Yes.
still not a morning person. So middle school is where it's at for me.
That's what I was about to say, yo.
I'll be here by 8:30. You got me. I'll be here by 8:30. Okay.
So how do you deal with how is that experience teaching the middle school students art?
It's kind of like being the hood Miss Frizzle.
That's what I was about to ask. It seems like that. Man, shoot! I grew up at the wrong time.
I know, right?
Yeah, man, I missed out, man.
I took my kids on a field trip. One of the kids looked at me and said, "Miss Lopez." I said, "Yes, babe." He said, "We getting on a big yellow school bus to go on a field trip with you. You like the hood Miss Frizzle, yo." I fell out. I was like, yo, that's a high compliment, bruh. I am here for it. Yes, I am the hood Miss Frizzle. Get your ass on this bus. And I swear to God, if you act a donkey, I'm going to beat your ass and tell your mama. Don't do that.
Oh,
Lord.
Lord.
Don't have fun, no boo-boo, okay?
So how do you balance your students having fun and them also learning?
Well, you have to draw the line, okay? So everything does depend on professionalism. But what I've come to learn in teaching classrooms of Black and Brown children is you will not survive thinking that you are the adult in the room. You know what I mean? Like the do what I say complex and this is how we do X, Y, and Z. That doesn't work for me in this environment because I get too much pushback as to where, seriously though, let's think about this. You're dealing with a human. Now we're going to take the Black and Brown part away.
Go ahead.
This applies to all children. You're dealing with a human between the ages of 11 and 13 whose frontal lobe is not fully developed. The frontal lobe is developing so quickly and affecting so many parts of their body at one time that, yes, they are going to perform the action before thinking about the consequence. Yes, they believe we are revolving around them like the sun because they just became the beginnings of a person. All right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
They are absolutely developing. They don't know what they like. They just started to understand what they like versus being told what they like, which is where you get pushback from. All right. So I do think having the warmth of a parent, like, I'm so proud of you and what you did, or look, baby, we struggling today. What's up with that? And giving this human some space to talk.
Okay.
It gives you more power as the adult in that situation because they are very aware that they are in school and you are the teacher. They know what's up and they understand when it's time to learn things. So you call your power the way you call your power. And I tell them the truth. The top of class is when it's teaching time, or as you guys experience it, the boring parts of class. The boring parts of class last about 10 to 15 minutes. The floor moves to you. I bounce around the classroom and help everybody out one-on-one. Take a 10-minute breather break at the desk and then bounce around again.
Hey.
And they understand it.
That is cool as hell, man. Dang. Yeah. I like how you put that, how you explain that. It actually seemed quite logical and simple.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they get it. So when I do the countdown at the top of class, voices off in 3. By the time I get to 1, well, voices are off. Here's the agenda. Here's what we're doing. I'm starting from the top. Go to the top. Go to the lesson. Do the demonstration. Move the floor back to the students so they can talk to their friends and create a work of art. It's not going to be the best art that you've ever seen in your life. Some of them are drawing for the first time.
Exactly.
They're scared to death. I ain't gonna put the hammer down on you. You just better give me the best damn stick figures I've never seen in my life. I know that. Don't waste my time. I could have sat my ass down instead of taking my girls for 2 minutes.
Do you grade? That's what I was about to ask. How do you grade middle schoolers when it comes to art?
I grade them based on effort, originality, and creativity.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's
cool. If it's like a bomb ass idea on paper with stick figures, yo, we rolling with it.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Man, that's so neat. Like, I'll put it like this. Like, I never thought I'd be able to talk to actual artists who's art teacher and see how they handle the students, because that, of course, is extremely different from an English teacher or algebra teacher. You don't have to deal with and this is what I was about to ask, like the testing and stuff that is done for the students, you don't have to go into that whole curriculum mess, do you? Or do
Absolutely
you have it?
not. And if I had to, I'd quit.
That's what I was wondering. I didn't think you'd be vibing with that at all. So that makes so much sense.
Because
now.
you know what? They're middle school kids. They still don't know what the hell they want to do in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Child.
They like music. They like clothes. They like video games. Big fan of this one. They love anime. So we always got something to talk about.
Hey. That's
So
what I'm
like,
talking.
yeah. So like, no, I think that art should be experiential and exploratory. Like I think that's what you should do in middle school. Like, let me show you what these cats are doing over here. And then let's create a version of that. Let me show you a lot of people that look like you, that do the same things that I do. I'm not the only one. It's other people that do what I do too.
That's true. Yeah.
Check them out for show. And, by the time they realize it, I'm like, all right, class over. And they're like, we just got here. Baby, it's been 90 minutes.
They like you. They actually like you.
Take your ass upstairs.
That's crazy.
You got the hell up out of here.
Hey, man, that is so cool. Question. So like, all right, so evidently it's having some benefit to these students in a positive way. Do you ever see like your class? Have you ever had a student you can watch them and see that they've actually grown over the course of taking a class?
Yes, I see it over the course of 3 years.
Oh, wow. So you get them for 3.
When they come in the 6th grade, majority of students have had a negative experience with art teachers. And they don't want to try because of that negative experience. So by the time I make a breakthrough with the student in completing one assignment, I'll get the fools back for the 7th grade, and then they drive me crazy. And then come back again in the 8th grade. And 8th grade, they have a little maturity on them. They understand what to do and what's going on. They also understand who I am and that I've been there with them this entire time, everything they've gone through. And from not trying to, okay, so I had this idea, I want to do X, Y, and Z. I just don't know how to do it. Baby, this is what I'm here for. This is what your parents' taxes pay me for. This right here. This right here.
Exactly.
Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. I've been waiting 3 years for you to come and tell me this.
Yep.
I held you down. You drove me crazy, but I've been waiting for this moment right here. Let's get active.
Oh man, that's super dope. I like the fact because I was weird. I went to this weird middle school. It's called Palmetto Middle School.
Yeah.
Shout out Mullen, South Carolina. But it only had 2 grades in it.
Yeah.
It only had 7th and 8th, so we didn't have a chance to stay with an art teacher or any of our elective teachers for more than a year or 2, depending on what was going on with the schedule. So, man, like I said, I never had a chance to have that experience, especially not with a top notch, what I consider a good art teacher, someone who had experience in what was really going on. So, man, I'm happy for your students, man.
Yeah, man, they happy too because they stalk me on the internets like y'all.
I was about to ask that. Dude, yeah. This is the internet age. Do you have your students following you online?
Every year.
Dang.
Every year. I get a new kid every year. And if I fuck around and leave my phone out, I'll find that I'm following kids. Hold the phone.
They are slick. They are slick.
Outfits, boo boo.
Yo, really? Yo, they slick. All right. I just want because it's a different dynamic than when we were in school. We weren't following our teachers. Like unless it was like a really super dope teacher, more likely than not, we just saw them at school. Boom, boom, boom. I'm out of here. I ain't bothering you. But yeah, man.
Well, you know what? So many people have lied to kids that I tell them, I ain't got time to lie to you. You don't need to know everything, but I'd be damned if I'm going to lie to you, okay? Then they go, okay, Ms. Lopez. So I just tell them, I'm going to teach. I got a lot going on outside right now, so I'm going to teach you the same thing that I'm doing outside, inside the class, because I can only stay focused on a couple of things at one time.
Hey.
Whatever I do, y'all gonna do. One kid was like, you treat your baby like this? Abso-fucking-lutely. Because I don't know what else to teach him about except for whatever the hell I know. And all I know is
I learn, you about to learn. That's deep.
We learn it together.
Yep. They don't understand how they'll realize that though. They'll be like, yo, that was actually really dope. That was cool.
Oh yeah, because next week they're gonna make me a budget for their little murals.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna make mock
Those are
murals
real
next
skills.
week.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I'm chairperson for Talking Wall Charlotte. So it's like I really have to stay focused on what's going on there.
Yes.
And I don't want to like lose my focus with school.
Exactly.
So whatever I do, I'm gonna teach y'all. Y'all gonna make a little teeny budget for a mock mural, and then y'all gonna draw y'all mural out and, you know, tell me where you want it in Charlotte. That's what I'm doing right now. So I'm a creative version for you so you can do it in class.
Yo, you better stop. You have to pay a lot of money to get some kind of teaching like that. Man, just keep rolling into that, because literally this is where we're coming up to next. You're just talking about your life. Since you're a working creative, you're an educator, you got a child.
Yep.
And you're in a relationship.
I don't know why I say yes to these things.
You say yes. Yes. So how do you do that? How do you balance that stuff? And I guess this is especially for Kevin right now, because he's the one with the child at the moment. What's your parenting style?
So my parenting style is definitely Black hippie with a touch of old Blackness.
Hey,
so it's somewhere in between there. Like, first of all, you are not going to be running your ass around screaming at the top of your lungs.
True.
But you're more than welcome to go play outside.
There you go.
If you're screaming, it makes me feel like something's wrong, so I'm coming to kill everybody. But if you outside and you get a little dirty and you smell like outside, you're totally fine to come lay up on mommy. It doesn't drive mommy crazy.
Oh,
okay. That's some real hippie shit.
Yeah, you ain't extreme clean status like grandma. Nope, take no clothes, I'll go in the shot. Like, that ain't happening.
Yes, and grandma is extreme clean status.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. Yes, plastic on everything. Let's get this right, tight and right.
Yeah, but you know, like all the things that we've learned, I feel like we could put some of those things into action. Like, if I'm going to be in art shows selling artwork, then guess who else is going to be in art shows selling artwork? My child.
Dope.
That way, by
this
the
is the
time
second time we heard this today. That's tight. That's tight. I like seeing that.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Like, you always hear about these white folks doing it with their kids. The kids running the business and shit. Why the fuck is we waiting? So what I know, you gonna do. By the time you're 18, if you want to change and do something else, that's fine. But I gave you a set of skills to make you okay in life.
Deep, mad dope. And that's what. And you're giving it to your students too. Like, they don't, like I said, they'll get it. Oh Lord, this is what she was doing. Like, I'm picking that up. That makes sense. Like, learning real life skills, especially because you're an artist, but technically you're an owner. So teaching those skills and making sure that your children actually learn something from you besides just learning how to tie their shoe and stuff like that. I think that's important. And a lot of us millennials and stuff raising children, figuring out what to take from the past generation and throwing out all the fat, and then, you know, adding in the other knowledge that we have so that we can do a good job. I think that's important. You know, it's something like there's no darn guidebook for this stuff. There's no guidebooks.
No, and I'm not going to be parent of the fucking year. Like, I don't know how people do it. I am going to make a mistake. My own parents made mistakes. So their parents made mistakes, and you just grow to be a better person. I don't know what to do, but what I do know is my child is his own person, and he can make his own decisions with guidance.
Big. I like that. Say that caveat again, with guidance.
Because I'm not going to leave you out here by yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's something that I like. My dad, he was really big on that, making sure that, you make your own decisions. Like, I'm going to have you got to use that brain thing. You have to really work your noodle, make sure you know what you're doing. But if, you need assistance, I'm here so you can ask me questions. And I think that's a big thing. It's not like you're throwing your child out there, but you don't need to be no helicopter or no tiger mom.
No, we just have expectations, and this is your job.
True.
This is your job. Your job is to go to school. Your job is to make art.
Yo, I like that, man. And I know you were just talking about this, and I thought this was really dope. I was checking out the Talking Walls, man. Could you explain what that Talking Walls project is and how that works and how you jumped into mural making? Because I see you weren't a mural, quote unquote, creator until recently, correct?
Facts on facts. Facts on facts. So I enjoy being childlike at time. And when the Black Lives Matter mural came out, I was like, I want to learn how to do that. Like, I got all new friends that said these friends is cool and they be doing big stuff. I want to do it too, you know?
Yeah, it's dope looking.
So, like, people who had gotten to know me, they were like, well, you are dope. Just give it a try. Like, we'll invite you in to give it a try. And so I tried it and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And I had a wonderful time getting to know other people who were just starting out to people who have been a decade strong established in the mural game here in Charlotte, you know?
Yeah, Charlotte is that scene because I've always known about Charlotte in the North End and the Art District. I try to go and check that stuff out whenever I get up that way too. So,
hell yeah. And also, I meant to tell you something. If extra sound is coming through, it's because Prism Supply, the motorcycle shop down the way from the shop, they're hosting their annual congregation for motorcycle folks.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, so
we hear that.
Yep, it's them. And as of right now, they got like little motorcycles going around in circles outside of my shop. It's in that thing. It's where the motorcycles can get up on the wall and type shit.
Shut up, like Hot Wheels?
Yeah, like you can walk up to the top. It's a circular encampment, and the motorcycles are in there because they're practicing for their show to go round and round and round and make it up onto the wall. So if you hear a lot of noise, that's that.
Okay, no problems.
Yeah. Like, people just invited me because everyone thought that I was a part of the Black Lives Matter mural. I was like, no, I just showed up because it looked like a bomb ass time, and I brought beer so I could go drink it with my friends and watch them paint.
Exactly.
I wasn't gonna do no work, but I'll get you drunk.
Yeah. But they pulled you into work.
Oh no, I ain't work. I literally sat my ass down and watched everybody else paint. Like, this so nice.
All right. So you actually went out there and watched them do the work.
Yeah.
And it kind of sparked the bug in you.
Yeah, because I've just never seen, like, in Charlotte, murals go live like that. I've seen it in Atlanta, but not Charlotte.
Exactly.
You know?
That's what I was about to say. Atlanta. Yeah,
and
that
I was
happens in
so
Atlanta.
close to it, and it felt like I can do it because, you know, I have my own art twin here in Charlotte, Chad. It goes by Chadwick Art or Chad Cartwright, right? We essentially utilize the same things. Our work looks similar, but our execution is completely different. So with that, I was like, well, maybe I can try it. If Chad's out here trying it, maybe I can try it too. Because we both base everything on handwriting when we work. Well, tried it, got into it, loved it. Then I met Sam Guzzi. And when I talked to her, this was during Talking Walls 2020. I was telling her, like, you know, I teach about talking walls in class because I want students to understand that not all artwork is in a museum or out of your reach. It's really in your backyard. Like, you might be living next to an artist and you just don't know. That's all. Yeah. It's nothing wrong with you not knowing. You just don't know. So art is in your backyard. And she liked that. And I exploded onto everybody's scene this year, and that's when she gifted me her position as chairperson for Talking Walls. So Talking Walls is Charlotte's street art festival. Okay. This is its 4th year in action. We're operating like we're still in a pandemic because we want to keep the artists safe. And we also uphold artist integrity, that you can put whatever you want on said wall. It's our job as a team, a board, to make sure we understand the communities that we're putting these artists in order to give the communities artwork of value, something that they'll be proud of, but also that important part, keeping the artist's integrity intact.
That's super dope. You thought that out to the T, because that's what I was about to ask you. I know I was about to say, so how do you get the authorization to do such an activity or an event?
Well, they've definitely spent time building up their formula. Between 2018 and 2020, they definitely spent time building that up, figuring it out to where it is a bit of a plug and play situation, but business is business and you need to have the right players in place.
Exactly.
To do business the right way, because not every business wants a mural and not every business values artist creativity.
Yes.
So you have to be ready with backups at all times, just in case. a business says, no, we do not like this mock-up, or my other personal favorite, yes, we'll give you this money if you put our logo on it. No, we don't want your logo on it.
So they've already tried it.
Uh-huh. I say, if you gonna dump hella money, yeah, put the logo on it.
No, I was about to ask that. So they run these murals, they run the mock-ups by the businesses before they go out. So it's not anything that quote unquote can catch them off guard, correct?
Right. Okay. I do think that's the right thing.
Yeah, that's
the
right thing.
And a lot of people are into it. I think the hard work moving forward is getting more Black and brown businesses to be a part of the festival. That's going to be the hard work moving forward.
Why so?
A few things. Number one, for a lot of our communities, businesses are ran by our elders, and street art equals graffiti, which equals illegal.
Darn it.
You see?
I got you. Yeah.
No, I don't want that. You're going to make it okay for gangs to come tag my space. In 1 year of putting murals on Batersford Road, all of the murals stayed untouched.
Whoa, be quiet. Really?
Yep, they were untouched. The community got pissed when one particular corner store on Batersford Road changed owners, and the owners painted over an entire mural. It was a Sankofa bird on top of a book of knowledge, and the owner painted over it. The new owners painted over it. Community got pissed.
So they really were respecting and standing for that art.
Therefore, what do we learn? People want murals in their community too.
Dang, because it is beautification. It changes the space.
It does change the space. A lot of people see murals as a hallmark of gentrification. Baby, you late to the game. Developers gonna develop. You was never a part of the plan. You was not part of the conversation. You don't even know the people who bought the things.
Exactly.
You are late to the game, because the activation of murals is technically phase 2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you done the land's bought. Everything is sold.
Yeah.
You don't own that block no more. Get your stuff up off the corner.
Right. And I ain't got the coins to fight it. So
let me at least get some kind of foot in the ground.
Right. And this is how I can.
Yep.
That way I can continue to talk about what it's like being a Charlotte native, being an original. That way I can tell these new business people, these developers, like, there's a lot of history in this space. And when you continue having these conversations, think about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people, guess what they're starting to do? They're starting to think about it.
And that
they're starting to figure out a way, can we preserve something instead of just bowling over the whole shit? And now we got a whole community of people mad at us.
Yeah. How does it feel being I have to ask this. How does it feel being a Charlotte native, being there, working there, being in the community, watching the changes go on? How is it? And do you think, and especially I'll put it like this too, especially with Charlotte recently, like, you all are blown up, like, on the map, like, you all are growing to be well known throughout the nation. Oh, Charlotte is a place to go for this, and that. How do you see that? I know there's it's always gray. It's never white or black, but what's your perspective on the influence of that on the city, especially those locations where you're from?
Charlotte needs to recognize more of its own OGs.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of articles that'll come out about Charlotte, like, oh, Charlotte is a wonderful place for African Americans to live.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, if you're a fucking transplant. So if
I've seen those articles
from Madison, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And you come to Charlotte, you good.
You good.
Yeah, there's upward mobility for you. But if you a nigga from Charlotte, educated by CMS, and you were born below the poverty line, guess where your ass stays? Below the poverty line.
In the same side of the track that you were always on.
Right.
Dang. So do you think is it a hard line thing? Is it like hard line creation of inequality, or do you think it's just like soft, you know how they say soft racism, you got your soft inequality?
Yeah, it is a lot of that.
Okay.
Which is why...
Because you all have a very sordid history when it comes to those things. I've read up on it.
Yup, it is so interesting.
Yeah, y'all part of was it? There's the summer of I forget what it's called. It's like the summer of I forget, extreme. It was like they were burning down stuff in Charlotte and in Atlanta. It was in the early 1900s. And from that, you had this whole outcrop of certain things. But it's not like it is in Wilmington where they just straight up hide it. It's in the books. You can read about it and see that it exists. And
Yes.
I know every time I go to Charlotte, I pay attention. And I see how this area is this area that is that, how they separate and split and divide. It's an interesting thing. Yep, it's interesting.
Yeah. I'm more interested in little things. Like, I feel like I got PTSD from some shit that didn't even happen to me. It's just the fact, like, it's just the fact that, you know, we have these $1 million homes being built in 5 Points. 5 Points is a historically Black area of Charlotte.
Yeah.
Johnson C. Smith is in that area, and the band was practicing on Johnson C. Smith's property, and some very wonderful homeowner called the police to say that they were too loud. I really feel like I got PTSD from that because, first of all, that pissed me the fuck off. Second of all, you a silly hoe. Third of all, how the fuck you gonna call the police on people practicing on their goddamn property for some shit they've been doing for 100 fucking years?
Yes.
Your ass is slow. You need to get the fuck up out the neighborhood and let them kids do them.
Yes. But that's what it is. That's
But that's what it is.
Life,
so you got to keep all that on the inside. You got to keep all that on the inside and make sure I educate you on why Johnson C. Smith is a very, very, very important kind of thing.
Exactly. Please do not touch. Please do not change the way that's operating. And I knew that was going to happen. Like, as soon as I kept hearing the reference to Charlotte being an upcoming burgeoning place, they built the new Wells Fargo building back there 15 years ago. They started building. I said, there's going to be problems.
Yeah,
I saw
that
coming. And I knew that was going to be an issue. And then because we had friends and stuff in the art scene in there. So we always ask, so how's it changing? What's going on?
The changes are for the better. I definitely miss how green Charlotte used to be. Like, Charlotte reminds me of Los Angeles in the mornings with the sun. Like, it's just so fucking bright. And I used to just think, like, why is it so fucking bright? Like, my eyeballs have changed, but they ain't changed that damn it much. Like, I feel like I am up early in the morning in LA, and LA is a concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Why is it? Because it ain't no goddamn trees to absorb this bitch. That's why it's so fucking bright.
Yeah, there are no trees anymore. You right.
Keep cutting these bitches down.
There's no trees.
I miss how green it used to be.
Good Lord.
You have to grow. I mean, it's just inevitable. You have to grow.
Yeah.
And I accept the changes, and some things are cool and some things are questionable. And instead of complaining about it, I would just rather want to be a part of it. Like, to this day, I'm still amazed when people drive around Charlotte and they find out about Hyde Park. And Hyde Park was like one of Charlotte's first like big time Black people's suburban neighborhoods. You know, like, you was doing some stuff. You had money if you were living in Hyde Park. And when they find that it exists, they're like, did you know about this? Yeah. I spent the first 2 years of my life in there, and that's where my family was raised, because my granddad and my grandmom had a house built in the area.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, I know about it. If you want to know more, holla at my mama.
But it's funny how you have to carry that lineage and that tradition, because one thing I hate, because I moved up to Columbia from Charleston, I hated seeing, because I knew a lot of people down there, a lot of old families, and I hated seeing like them lose the culture that was there. The whole reason why people were going there is for that culture. And so when you take those people out and you remove that culture, you no longer have that essence anymore. You might as well just be, it's almost like being a McDonald's of selling whatever it is to the people. And in Charleston, of course, it's food and et cetera. But yeah, I hate to see that. So I hope that stuff stays. I hope that education is continued on that, even though, like we said, we like things becoming positive. I want to see things not be violent. I like seeing nice spaces, clean areas and neighborhoods, but I also want to be able to keep some aspect of culture in those places. It's just worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, Charlotte needs to slowly but surely come to terms with the fact that their identity is based on banking and the history of Black people here. That is, you are a Southern city. You are the capital of money in the South. And you have a whole entire history of Black people from the West to the East side, to the South side, to the North side that you need to uphold and recognize, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That is what's going to make your identity definitely stand out. Charlotte is not a mini Atlanta. It's nothing like Atlanta.
Nope.
It is Charlotte. It is Charlotte all day. Like if North Carolina is the Rip Van Winkle state, yeah, we definitely chilling until a nigga pop the fuck off at the mouth.
Yes.
Then it's a goddamn problem. Why'd you fuck up the chill? You know, like everybody wants to.
Yeah, you bullshitting.
You're right.
Yeah. So it's just who we are. And really though, since moving back home in 2014, 13, I am a better person now because of it.
I see what you're saying. And that's cool, man. I'm happy. And I always like to see that too. I like to see people go back to where they're from and add value to the society. Come on, man.
Well, a lot of my tenacity comes from the fact that I had a whole live nervous breakdown that brought me back home. I think people need to know that.
Yep.
You know, like you are going to walk through some darkness, fam. It's just, it is what it is. It's life. You're going to walk through the dark. So since that's going to happen, I walked through it and chose to walk through it for years and chose to revisit, you know, those old memories of kids picking on me and just like forgiving myself for still being angry and I'm a whole live adult. Coming to terms with the fact that, I didn't want to be a mom, but I'm here now. And now my kid's the coolest person ever.
Hey.
To come to terms with the fact that I have no position in the Charlotte art scene here because there are people who've been here doing the damn work.
Mm-hmm.
And they need to be recognized and they need to be supported. So everywhere that I was experiencing negativity for years, I actively chose to think differently about it. It's kind of like this TikTok video that's been going around where the dude's like, instead of asking, why me, ask, what can I learn from this?
True.
As a matter of fact,
those things have made me a stronger person.
As a matter of fact, change your course real quick. I know you mentioned TikTok, and you're an educator. Have you heard about what's been going on TikTok as far as with the month of October?
Oh, what, the Slap a Teacher Challenge?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I ain't getting slapped. You know that, right?
Oh, I
That's
know
what I was
that.
about to say. I don't think that's going to go down.
That's on record. Like somebody saw my picture on the cover of Queen City Nerve, and they was like, you just look like a teacher where the kid's not going to slap you. I wish the fuck they would. Give me a reason.
Oh, my Lord Jesus. What
I
do you
don't
think
want
about
the
that?
reason, but if you give me a reason, because guess what? I ain't going to do it to you.
Yo, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just
telling you right now, I'll touch your kid and tell you I did it.
Say it. That's what I'm about to say.
We gonna be accountable together. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Exactly. I just thought that was interesting when they had that going. I said, no, this can't be real. They got to be playing.
No, it is real because some teachers really are getting slapped.
Oh, good Lord.
Some teachers so it's just the kid got to ask themselves, who do I want it with? Not me.
See, that's what I'm saying. And part of that, you think that respect that you have from your students, I know they aren't going to do that to you. And that's just because that's what that's what you lay down, the foundation you lay down from the beginning when they first had you as a teacher.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what some of these teachers are, how they probably treat and deal with their students, because they don't respect them at all.
Nah,
None at all.
That's a day one activity. I respect everybody that's in here right now because I don't know you.
Yep. True. Straight up.
And I don't know who you was. I don't know who you are. So the child always has my respect put on the table first. It's my job to gain yours. You already got mine.
Dang, that's a different perspective.
No.
Yo.
You know
what,
what?
Kevin, we done grew up at the wrong time.
No, actually, I'm gonna share a little bit with you, and that's actually dope that you think that, because that's actually what I do on my 9 to 5. Actually, I work as a counselor out at DJJ, so I help work with kids essentially to help them get jobs or to pay for school once they go back into the community down here in Columbia. But one of my approaches I've always had, and prior to that, I worked with Job Corps. But one of my approaches is, and I thought it was very interesting that we share, is when it comes to respect, I've always been like that too. And I've always been very straightforward and honest with the kids about that I work with. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna show you respect, but in turn, I expect you to show me respect, but I'm going to be the person that's going to put it out there initially to set that standard moving forward. And I've always had good relationships with the students I've worked with as a result of that. And I've always, like I said, even when it comes to sometimes they don't want to be referred to as sir and ma'am, and they'll correct me, if they want me to call them something else, but I'll always approach them just like I would any other adult that I work with. It makes
yes. It means a lot. It's not that hard to do, and it's difficult for a lot of teachers to just do that. Yeah, you might have grown up poor, and they're growing up poor, but guess what, babe? Times changed. It's not how you grew up. Okay, we're dealing with a whole other case of people across the board, and I'm not going to disrespect you for any amount of reasons. You may upset me. I may be disappointed in you today. When I see you tomorrow, we're going to start again, and I'm going to show you what that looks like.
Exactly. That's consistent. That's big. Especially with younger folk.
Yeah, that's all they want right now. I got a ton of kids on my head Monday through Friday. And when I say a ton, I could walk in my classroom and turn around and it'd be two faces I ain't never seen before. And the hell these kids come? Y'all.
We in your class.
And they're like, we just want to be in here. You heard all the stories about me. That's why you asked me who you been lonesome with.
We just want to be in here. Wow, that's cool. Oh man, that's dope. That's dope, man. I guess getting ready to wrap up. We don't want to hold you too long. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we value the time, but we gotta ask you one more time. We always like this little part. What's it say? This is the shameless plug section. What current projects are you working on besides, of course, you're working on the Talking Walls, but what else are you working on, and where can people reach out and find you?
Ooh, baby, exhibition season is over for me by the grace of the Lord. I am so tired. I have done an exhibition at least every month or every other month since the month of March 2021. And it is October, bitches.
That's a lot of work.
I'm so tired, not to mention teaching at the same time.
Yeah. Good Lord.
With that, exhibition season, as far as me ramping up and getting all of the works together, we're definitely at a pause. Good. But you can still see my exhibitions. So let's just go ahead and go straight down the list here.
Okay.
Presently, right now, you can see my work in Visual Vanguard at the Harvey B. Gantt Center in downtown Charlotte. Then you can walk across the street from the Gantt Center to the Mint Museum uptown, go to the 5th floor and see another exhibition I have, which is the Black Market Charlotte Bodega installation.
That's dope.
Right? Then you can go 2 to 3 blocks down the street from both of those locations into South End to Elder Gallery of Contemporary Art and see another exhibition I curated called Joy, which features me and 3 other wonderful women artists. And then pop over to Advent and check out their co-working space for another exhibition I curated titled Big New Things with the wonderful girl, Susan Mackey.
Oh, man, that's dope. So it's a space for sharing space for creatives, correct? And
No, Advent Co-working is a legit co-working space in the similar model and vein as WeWork. But Advent, okay. I find Advent to be better than WeWork because WeWork is on the national model, which means that you have no identity.
Got you.
Advent has an identity because it's so singular to Charlotte. And to me, when I walked around the space and I saw all the different businesses in there, those businesses to me look like an extension of Charlotte's identity because they care about the Charlotte community overall.
So it's authentic to the location. Ooh,
yeah, it's super cool in there. And our biggest goal is to, of course, give artists as many opportunities as possible. You don't need my help getting exposure, but creating opportunities, that's a whole other ballgame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's where it goes back. Circling back, as I said, good dialogue, good conversation. Come back to the beginning, the top, being able to be professional enough and so you can get into those spots, those rooms with the people you need to meet and see.
Yeah.
That's
Mind
I see
you,
what you're saying.
doing all of that while teaching at the same time. My principal got a lot of patience on me.
Oh, I'm happy, yo. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that, yo. I was about to say, because you're literally you're squeezing every drop of time, especially like you said during your exhibition season. Out of the hours, you're taking up all your time working and stuff like that. That's why I said we do appreciate your time. But hey, thank you, appreciate it, yo. We work hard. We like doing this because I know Kevin was talking about this. Because of the pandemic stuff, like the type of networking we normally would do, we weren't able or allowed that space to do it. So the cool thing about this podcast is that it has allowed us to continue networking and meeting new people and seeing what's going on in the areas around us in ways that we weren't able to before. Cutting down space and time, being able to do these things from the house. We've been able to talk to some people, man, we never thought we'd be able to actually sit down and see. And like with one of the folks we had an interview with, Kevin, he sees this guy all the time. He just never had a chance to sit down and talk. But that's why we like this platform. We like letting creators especially come on here and express themselves because, man, y'all are interesting as hell, man. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all so interesting. But could you also give some people some of your, I guess what say, social media information where they can look at your information and work? I know we're going to post it again, but if people like to hear it.
Hey, well, look, if you coming for me, I am King Carla across all social medias. You want to see the website? I am kingcarla.com. You want to support Talking Walls Charlotte? All you got to do is go to talkingwallcharlotte.com.
Go
and
ahead.
That's that.
Yep, and she's right. And I like that. I like how clean it was. It wasn't hard to find, especially for our audience. If you want to look this stuff up, it's not going to be hard to get to or find. And all the information that you need, if you want to stalk like I stalk, you can get on there and stalk her down and look at the information, the artwork, etc. I do see you also have a few items for sale on your shop as well. One is already sold out, but you had 3 others up there for sale, correct?
Yeah, and I got another one that's sold out too that I got to change up. I am an artist for real. So you know that means my website ain't even updated.
Yo, you a real artist. No, because seriously, I was like, oh, Lord, it's about to start. All right, so yeah, well, another one that's sold out. Okay. We have to jump on it.
I don't need help with the arts right now. Like I do, but not in right now. Yeah. Where I truly need help is people going to purchase blind boxes for Talking Walls.
That's what I was about to ask you about. That looks cool as hell. I know I'm going to get one. It's $40. Yeah. The items in it, and this is what I thought was crazy. I don't know how y'all doing it. The actual cost was probably like $85 to $120. I'm like, good Lord, how do y'all? So explain those boxes a little bit so our audience can hear it.
All right, so a blind box is a box full of merch from Talking Walls Past, and your purchase, the funds go towards supporting the festival, and you get to actually be a part of the festival based on the merch that's in the box, which could range from T-shirts to 1 year. This was my personal favorite, really, though. 1 year, like little journals were created so you could draw what you see. So I really love that. Jackets, hoodies, water bottles, like whatever Kevin is packing into those blind boxes, you're going to dig it. Because I've always loved Talking Walls. I'm so grateful to be a chairwoman this year. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've always wanted my own art department. And while I never specified what kind of art department, I'm very proud Talking Walls is mine. So definitely cop a blind box and be a part of my art department.
Oh, could you and if you can't afford, or if you can't get a box, you can also make donations, correct?
Yeah, you certainly can make donations. Oh, and the other thing we need is volunteers.
I saw you put out a call for that. Yes, yeah. You all are in need of volunteers. And let them know how they would contact. And is that information is also directly on the website? Isn't that correct?
Yes. The volunteer form is on the Talking Walls Charlotte website. And you just go to the links and fill it out, call it a day. And somebody will definitely get back to you. We have 13 people on the board total. Somebody will definitely get back to you.
Excellent. Well, we aren't going to hold you up any longer. We appreciate having you today. Your experiences and your personality, man, is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I knew we were gonna have fun today. I always like having conversations with real creatives, as I always like to tease people who actually think outside the box. So just for a sign off, man, I gotta say thank you so much to our guest, Carla Aaron-Lopez for joining us. This is going to conclude our episode 23 of the Hilltop Glove podcast.
Ooh, GOAT status.
That's what I was about to say, right?
23, son. All right, I'm going to be quiet. My bad. Continue.
Nah, that's perfect. That's why I wanted to shout out. This is the 23rd episode, man. Season 2. We're happy that you all are joining us. We're going to keep pumping out great content for our folks. We want to make sure that our folks actually follow and do your best to support our guests that we bring on our shows, because we want to make sure that we're actually bridging some of that gap that we do have in the Black community when it comes to support and etc. But happy Saturday to everybody. Have a blessed one out there and be safe. Peace.
That's it for today's episode of the Hilltop Glove podcast. Make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and other platforms. Also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hilltop Glove.